keeps on giving. Unwrap the possibilities today and call 1-800-434-JOBS or visit workforceconnectionfl.com.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
right, 16 minutes after 7 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. The last day of 2013.
Yeah.
Tomorrow begins everything all over again.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
I know.
There you go. I never knew whether Old Lang Syne should be played the last day of the year or the first day of the year. I never really understood how that worked. And even when I had the explanation given to me about what Old Lang Syne actually means, it still doesn't. I still don't resonate with it. I still don't quite get it. But anyway, good morning, Robin. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
It's probably good. This is probably the only version of Old Lang Syne, although I take that back. I think there was one that was like a hip hop version, but all the rest of them kind of sound sad. This one starts out sounding sad, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of pumps it up a little bit with the Celtic thing going on there.
It's like a party, and it should be a party. Yay!
Party! Why should it be? Why should it be? What did you actually accomplish? Just getting through another year. You held on. You breathed enough to make it through another year, right?
Right. I think reflecting is good, and boy, when a person reflects, a person doesn't realize exactly how much was gotten done and all the events that comprise the entire year.
Yeah, I was reflecting this morning. I didn't like that reflection, so I closed the medicine cabinet or I opened it, whatever put the mirror in the wrong position.
Oh, okay.
All right, never mind. It was a silly joke. All right, let's see. What do we have planned for this morning, the last day of the year? 7:30 in just a little bit. Dr. Pastor Walter B. Smith, I guess he's a doctor of sorts.
I think
he's
so.
the pastor of Heritage Baptist Church, and he brings us his 2-minute feature every weekday morning, and we'll hear what he has to say about the last day of the year. He's been pretty timely, what is it called when comedians are using jokes from topical? It's pretty topical.
Yes.
That's what they call it when a comedian uses jokes from the news, right?
Yes. Pastor Smith is topical.
Topical humor is what they call it in stand-up comedy, right? 7:35, we're going to talk about some of the things that have happened this past year, just kind of a recap, I guess you would say.
Okay.
8:35, News Bites, we'll talk about the news from around the world and the nation and the state and all that. Caroline Baldwin comes in at 9:05. She promised she'd be here on New Year's Eve.
Yep.
Which is bigger than New Year's Day. Unlike Christmas, where Christmas Eve is small, Christmas Day is big.
Huge.
New Year's Eve is big. New Year's Day is small.
Yeah. Well, that's because everybody's home with, hangovers.
Are things open on New Year's Day? See,
oh, yeah.
I'm 50. What am I? 58? Am I going to be 59 soon? Right?
Yes.
So this is my 50. This would be my 58th New Year.
Yes.
Not that I remember the first few of them. But.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's open New Year's Day except government and banks.
Okay.
They're all the mall's open tomorrow till 7 p.m. Today the mall's open till 7 p.m. So if you got to get something to the mall, get here before 7 p.m.
Or something from the mall, right?
That's right. opens at 10 a.m. the regular time. So everything's open
This
tomorrow.
is the last day of the year that we were in 2 locations. So in 2013, well, we'll do this later, but this is kind of recapping the year a little bit. But we were Never mind. Hold on to that thought till we get out of Pastor Smith.
Okay.
What was I up to? Carolyn Baldwin at 9:05, and then Damage Control. Joe Reichel will be in the studio at 10:35.
Yep.
He'll be telling you what he does when somebody has some disaster strike their house. And the other day I was out in my yard trimming trees just as much as I could. Although I think I need to go to one of those big box home stores like Home Depot or Lowe's or something and get one of those long things with the powerful clippers.
Oh, you had one of those.
I had one some time ago, yes.
Yeah, and that worked out really slick.
It's an amazing technology. It's very simple, I guess. It's just a matter of levers. There's no electronics or gas-powered things, but just through the magic, the power of levers gives you like Superman strength. You can pull that blade right through a 6-inch branch. It was truly an amazing thing. But anyway,
it was great to watch you do that.
To protect my house, I will be cutting those limbs down. It's my New Year's resolution.
Yeah, because they're scary right now.
They're not in my yard. The tree is the tree is in the neighbor's yard. But but the limbs are on my side. And I've spoken not only to Joe about this before, but also to the attorney, John Fuller.
Yep.
About who's liable, and I don't care who's liable. I just don't want my house to be hurt.
Exactly.
Dr. Heather Tick at 11:05 today. Dr. Tick is an holistic pain relief. I never know whether it's A or an when it's an H word.
Right. That's the name of her book.
And holistic pain. Oh, the book is called Holistic Pain Relief. That makes it easy. Dr. Tick's breakthrough strategies to manage and eliminate pain.
Yeah, I like this topic.
Not bad, huh?
No, I think it's very good.
Today on Fun with Joe with Dan, it'll be Fun with Joe with Dan with Tom. Because Joe is up in the Carolinas. I believe Dan is going golfing, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
And so Tom Schmitz is going to help us out. He's going to come in from the afternoon show to be part of the morning show. And then we, in turn, will be part of his afternoon show. I'm not so sure what we're doing.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, well, that part I know. But what segment of his show are we doing? Do you know?
I think the first hour. The 3 to 4.
What's it called? Is it called the Trivianator thing?
Yeah, Trivianator. Something Trivianator.
Well, the good thing about this is when you
He's the Trivianator.
I know, but when you do somebody else's show,
yeah,
you don't have to do anything. You just show up.
Yeah. Well, technically.
What do you mean? I don't do anything.
No.
I'm just showing up.
Yep.
I think that's kind of cool.
I think so too.
You just show up as a guest.
Yeah.
You don't really have to do anything. You're just there. I mean, you talk and you interject ideas and things.
Right. They get you water.
But no, they don't get you water. You're the only one who gets anybody water. So anyway, we'll have fun with Tom during Fun with Joe, and then later on we'll be on the afternoon show with Tom when he does this Trivianator thing.
That'll be fun.
Should be fun. I'm going to...
Trivianator Tuesday, I think he calls it.
I fail miserably at these things.
This will be fun.
You're very good at it. See, you actually have a lot of experience because I put you through the rigor every day.
Yeah, but it's fun. I learn a lot.
And and I learn nothing because I'm just reading, so nothing gets retained.
No, yes it does. You always come up with.
I don't know. If he's pitting us against each other, then I guess I'm going to lose because don't bet on me. If I don't know how they even do it on their show, but.
It'll be fun.
But what we're going to do when Tom is here, I should tell you that what I was going to do was find songs from when he was 17 and have you guess them.
Right,
And we figured he was 17 in 1985.
Yep.
And then have him guess your 17-year-old songs, which is 1971, I think I figured.
Yes.
Am I right about that?
Yep.
But I didn't do that. What I went for was the hits of 2013. So the hits from this year.
Okay.
Which I'm guessing he's probably more familiar with than you and I. Because he's considerably younger than you and I.
Yeah.
Right? So, we'll see. We'll see, because I don't know how much he listens to pop radio or pop music in general. Now, we sort of kind of do, but not much. It's when we were painting, we were doing a lot more of that because we'd be in the car, and I would always like to tune into the top radio stations or download the top songs of the day, whatever. So.
And when our kids were growing up, we always had it on the stations that they liked. So we were up back then, let me tell you.
All right, now
We were abreast
now
of
the
things.
segment we're going to talk about with Galen. I love this segment. There's a verse in the Bible. I am not a biblical scholar. In fact, I asked you for this verse.
Yeah, and I had no clue.
This is from the King James Version. Some of you want when I reference the Bible, you always say, "Can you do it from the King James Version?"
Mm-hmm.
There's a verse in the Bible, 1 Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 11. Is that how you read
Yeah.
that? 1 Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 11. This is what it says. It says, "When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things." Okay, now what does that have to do with the segment with Galen? It is the end of history illusion. This is a fascinating study that I was reading about in the New York Times. The end of history illusion. It is the illusion that whatever age you are at, you have progressed to perfection. You don't expect yourself to become any better than you are. Now you expect yourself to get older. Now that's not saying if I'm going to lose weight, so I will be better. It's not that kind of thing. It's more in lines with how you feel about humanity, how you, your beliefs. If the study, one of the things in the study was that they asked people what they believed their neighbor believes or their coworker believes, and quite often they would say, "Well, my coworker thinks more liberal than I do, and we don't really agree on a lot of stuff." But when they would ask that same person, "What do you think God thinks?" then the person would always say everything in line with how they think. So God thinks the way we think according to us.
Yeah.
But our neighbors think differently than us because, well, they're different.
Right.
But you and God, you're one. But anyway, so this has a lot to do with the things. And here's a better example than that, because it might still be confusing. When your children were little, were they particularly into anything that eventually wore off, like Ninja Turtles? And I guess that's a good example.
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
I mean, my son loved Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
He loved them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's still a fondness in his heart for the memory of those things, just like we always look back at Popeye the Sailor Man.
Exactly.
with fondness. But it's not the same. You don't really embrace that. And I know that, well, I should save this for the Galen segment, so I will.
Okay.
Again, something I need
then
to
I
hold
won't
on
say
to.
anything.
But anyway, the end of history illusion, the illusion that you right now are at the end of your development, not necessarily physically.
Yeah. I've always wanted to be double D's, and I'm still waiting.
But anyway, so that's our segment with Galen. It's an article from the New York Times, and it says why you won't be the person you expect to be, simply because you'll be better than you expect to be. That's the whole idea here.
Yeah.
Because you will give up childish things, as it says in the Bible, which is kind of cool. Because 30 years from now, the things you do right now, you're going to look back on as childish. Not that they're not necessary now, and not that they're really childish. And anyway, so
Exactly.
it's a fascinating topic, and I'll bite my tongue until we're on with Galen.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
just bit it.
There it goes.
All right, let's see a couple second looks at the news here. Florida was not selected as one of the states or one of the regions to be part of a study from the Federal Aviation Administration to develop drone technology. Mm-hmm. But we have our own, since we weren't picked yesterday, I guess this was all done yesterday. Who was picked were the University of Alaska, the state of Nevada, the Griffith International Airport in upstate New York, the North Dakota Department of Commerce, Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi, and Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Those places were all selected by the Federal Aviation Administration to study the effect of national airspace, the coexistence of drones and airplanes. Mm-hmm. That's what the whole study is about. Hey, I'm telling you, this is happening. Everybody said that Amazon thing was just a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think drone technology is going to happen. You will see packages and pizzas being delivered by drones.
That's right.
I do
That's
think
right.
so. Now, listen to this. They want the study to be completed by 2015. That's next year.
Well,
So-
good. I'm glad they're
So the
quickening it
state
up.
of Florida, Senator Marco Rubio among them, disappointed that Florida was not considered, especially Cape Canaveral, since they've got aviation as one of their key things. But we were not selected. But that
No.
doesn't mean we're not going to do our own study. So Florida's going to do a study of our own. And what it means for you and I, apparently this is an $11.6 billion industry that will open up, giving lots of people jobs, apparently, in this whole drone thing. And drones can be scary, I guess, because they could be spying, they could be dropping bombs or chemicals or whatever, or they could be bringing books from Amazon. I don't know. But anyway.
This is so cool. The first ones when we were kids, and you put a camera to one and just let it fly around.
Yeah, right.
They weren't drones, but they were toys, but they were drones.
U-2 spy planes is what they were.
Oh, there you go.
Real quickly, a couple of second looks at the news, then we'll go to Pastor Smith. When we were at Light Up Ocala, we had a man come up to us with a clipboard asking us if we'd sign a petition to allow Florida voters to decide whether or not we in Florida should legalize marijuana, medical marijuana.
Yep.
And I'm sure that man had lots of information he could have told us, but we were kind of in a hurry. We said, sure, I don't mind if it's up for vote. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm for it, but I'm okay with it being up for a vote. So I signed it. You signed it.
Yep.
I think Joe signed it. I think Patsy
so.
opted not to.
Yes.
I think, if I remember right. But anyway, had I seen the video that I saw this morning regarding this, then I would have signed it with no problem. Apparently, this is not smoking marijuana. This is an extract from the marijuana plant.
Oh.
It is called, hold on, I'll find out what it's called. Cannabidiol, or CBD for short. And of course, the word is derived from cannabis. And it actually will help where no other drug has been able to help children who have seizures.
Oh my gosh.
And I watched this video. It was very impactful. So if we have at our disposal some understanding of how to stop children who have seizures from having seizures, and the extract happens to come from a plant called marijuana, then why would we deny it just because somebody, 40 years ago decided that this was a bad thing? The way it was used 40 years ago and the way it's still used today as a smoking substance, yes.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is about. So anyway, that was in the news this morning.
Wow.
And some
Help the
10-year-old
children.
found these large bones on the beach.
Oh.
And I guess they were all excited, thinking maybe they found a dinosaur or something like that. Well, it turns out all it was a whale that had died last year.
Oh.
And the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission had buried it.
Oh.
It was just too big to move. They did take enough of it to, I guess, study it. But anyway, it was buried somewhere in St. Augustine.
Oh gosh, what a cool find is that?
But this 10-year-old boy, he finds these like gigantic bones.
That's so neat.
I guess the wind and the rain, whatever. I guess they didn't bury it that deep.
Yeah.
And they found these gigantic bones, and he posted it on Facebook, and everybody's going, "Oh my goodness, you found a teratocopus!" Everybody was trying to guess what it was.
Yeah.
Turns out it
wow.
was and the whale was a beaked whale, Beaked, a beaked whale.
Not heard of that
I never heard of it either.
species.
Two things. First of all, I thought the word is beached, not beaked.
Yeah.
I was wrong. It's beaked.
Oh.
Second of all, I thought, well, maybe the whale has a beak.
Yeah. Yeah. that
like a
could
bird.
be. Right.
Wrong again. It doesn't have a beak at all.
Oh,
I don't know where the word
okay.
comes from. All right, let's go forward. Pastor Walter B. Smith is up next, and then we'll talk about some of the things that have happened in 2013. Deal?
Yeah.
Well, a good day to you, and welcome again to Bring Back the Bible. I'm Pastor Smith, coming to you as always from Heritage Baptist Church right here in the northeast section of Ocala. According to doctors, rattlesnakes thought to be dead can still strike, bite, and kill you. Doctors out in Phoenix said that they have a large number of patients admitted every year suffering from bites from rattlers thought to be dead. Sometimes those snakes were shot and their heads were cut off, but the snakehead evidently retains a reflex action. In fact, one study showed that snakeheads, listen to this, could still make striking type motions up to 60 minutes after decapitation. Well, Satan, that old serpent, was defeated at Calvary. His head was cut off. Hebrews chapter 2 says that our Savior, by his death, burial, and resurrection, destroyed him who holds the power of death. But Satan can still strike and wound us. He can still hurt us and poison our relationships and spread his deadly venom into our homes, our churches, and our lives. Paul admonished the Corinthians to take great care. He said, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, 2 Corinthians 2:11. It seems to me that many believers are unaware that they are under attack. Satan can and is very subtle, and his devices, folks, are all well planned. While his devices take on many forms, there is one in particular that he uses quite effectively, and that is worry. If the enemy can keep you off balance in the area of worry, he will successfully hinder your service for the Lord. Don't worry about anything. That's the message of Philippians 4 and verse 6.
That is one sound no one likes to hear, but if it happens, know that it will be reported in seconds to the right authorities. AA Lock, Dock, and Security is your company for your home and your business. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, where you can get that extra key made or have your lock rekeyed. Questions to protect your home and business, call 352-867-1965. Or stop by AA Lock, Dock, and Security at their new location, 219 Northwest 10th Street here in Ocala. Remember, be proactive, not reacting after it happens. Call 352-867-1965. 352-867-1965.
Howdy, RL here to tell you about a great deal at Dairy Queen. For only $4.49, you can warm up to a hot, juicy combo of either a foot-long, quarter-pound, all-beef chili dog or a tasty, home-style cheeseburger. Smoking hot off the char grill. Both get fries and a drink. You can add a sundae for only 99 cents. Now that's a doggone good deal at Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. Thick black smoke from a burning train wreck has forced the evacuation of an entire town near Fargo, North Dakota. The train carrying oil slammed into another stopped train, triggering explosions and fires. No one's been hurt so far. Crippling cold has settled in over the Plains states, the Midwest, and all the way east to New England. Temperature records could fall from Maine to Minnesota, where it probably won't even reach zero. The stunt confetti passed the test in New York's Times Square. Officials did a test flight of paper pieces ahead of the magic moment tonight when the ball drops to ring in the new year. The person flicking the switch will be Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, a New York City native. It's already 2014 in some parts of the world, including New Zealand and Samoa. Formula One racing legend Michael Schumacher has improved slightly after 2 hours of surgery, but doctors in France say he's still in critical condition and not out of danger after suffering a severe head injury in a skiing fall in the Alps. Doctors also say if he hadn't been wearing a helmet, he wouldn't have survived at all. This is ABC News.
In 1942, Eleanor flipped her wig about Geico saving her moolah on her motor insurance.
Hey man, in 1969, Ace saved enough dough with Geico to go to Woodstock. His only memory? The savings.
In 1984, Stephanie saved, majorly on her car insurance with Geico. It was so totally righteous.
Over the past 75 years, the expressions have changed, but one thing hasn't: saving money with Geico.
Hey, it's Guy Fieri, and before the game, it's all about the tailgating. Burgers, sausage and peppers, onions, hot wings, you name it. But come game time, if you got yourself a whole bunch of heartburn, roll out the Rolaids.
Don't let heartburn keep you from enjoying the things you love. Rolaids gets you back in the action fast. Its dual-active formula neutralizes more acid than Tums. For indigestion and heartburn, get rapid relief with Rolaids.
Rolaids? Now that's how you spell relief.
Use as directed. Acid neutralization may not correlate with symptom relief.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. For today, intervals of clouds and sunshine. The high 67 to 71. Tonight will be partly cloudy with lows ranging from 54 in the northernmost part of the zone to about 64 along the coast. For tomorrow, New Year's Day, mostly cloudy with a shower or two. The highs ranging from the mid-60s up north to the mid-70s in the south. Thursday, some rain and a thunderstorm. Highs in the low 70s up north, 82 in the south. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Thank you, Joe. 20 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. What did we do in 2013? What did we search for on the internet, et cetera, et cetera? And so that's what we're going to talk about. Let's start with us right here.
Okay.
In the beginning of 2013, we were not here. We were over at the Cascades.
Yep.
At the end of 2013, we're here. That didn't happen with the snap of a finger.
No, it did not.
That was something that was in the works for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the year that we made the move. I know that Joe and Dan had decided to make the move, I guess, almost as soon as they took over.
Yeah.
Because they had moved into the Cascades office complex and they were not happy with one thing in particular with that building. And what that was the fact that there wasn't really a way to keep the water out from under the wall.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the water that cascades over the it's a beautiful office complex, and it goes back to 1976. I remember when you and I were both here. It was billed as the first mall of Ocala.
Yes.
And then when the Paddock Mall was built, this place was called the first mall of Ocala. And so when WKE at the time moved into the Cascades, it was a big deal because it was a hot spot. Everybody wanted to go there. I've heard stories from you about how popular the Foxfire restaurant was.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
I've heard many stories from many of our listeners. Our friend Doug was a busboy, I believe, at the restaurant there. His brother was a waiter, I believe, at the Foxfire. So it was a popular place, and it was a good move. And Bob Houck, I believe, was the owner at the time, and he was the one who made the decision. It was a very good decision at that time. Very, very highly trafficked place. I myself was making records that were on radio at that time. I was not working in radio yet in 1976.
It was high-end stores, too. Very high-end stores.
I remember it was kind of pricey.
Yeah, very high-end.
So that's what high-end means?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Very
thinking, okay, I don't know why these stores are a little bit more expensive than anywhere else, but I'm not shopping here.
I bought a puzzle, $20.
For a puzzle?
It was in French, yeah. That's how high-end the toy store was.
Because it was in French?
The cheapest thing. It was, the cheapest thing in the toy store was a $20 puzzle, so it was very
Did you buy it just because
pricey.
you wanted to say you bought something from the...
No, I had a young person to give it to.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you had somebody.
Yeah, no, I don't do that just to say I bought it.
It's amazing. Well, I did that. I did that at the Trump
Yeah.
Tower. I bought a truffle, a chocolate ball.
Yeah, that's cool.
which had no reason to be $5, but it was. It was the only thing I could afford at the Trump Tower.
Yeah.
I bought it with a debit card, credit card, whatever I had at the time, simply so I could say I bought it. And I used the credit card so that I'd have that kind of a receipt. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? Who knows?
No, because it's cool. But the Cascades was nice.
Anyway, so I went on a little tangent there. I'm trying to do two things at once. So anyway, when Dan and Joe made the decision to move, they were looking around, and they had a couple of different choices. One day we should get them in here to talk about this. It's kind of a cool story. And I remember they were kind of back and forth. Every once in a while they'd show us the plan for everything. And then when this place was secured here at the Paddock Mall, Dan, with his skills, was able to go onto his computer and actually give us a visual of what it would look like once it was built from the outside.
Yeah, that was great.
And that's kind of, that's the technique a lot of people who have a goal use. They will create a visual and hang it up, look at it. This is the future, right?
Yeah.
So for those of you who are looking at tomorrow as the beginning of something new, hey, we've had so many experts, authors, and psychiatrists, and they will say, if you create a visual for yourself, a picture of what you think you want to look like, or the home you want to live in, the car you want to drive, find it in a magazine or draw it if you need to draw it, if it doesn't exist already, or have somebody else create the image of it. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand it, but apparently it helps motivate us to get things done. And it is what it took. It took a lot of persistence on their part. And then when it was time for us to be part of that, because you and I have our own things. We have our own things that we do. So we've got our own goals and our own pictures, if you will, of where we're going. But then we also coexist, I guess, or interface with the people we work with, including especially Dan and Joe.
Yeah, we're part of a team.
So anyway, when it came time to actually have some hands-on help, I do what I always do. I always say, all right, you're the boss. Let me do whatever you want me to do, because I don't know anything about building or demolishing. And my job was to demolish.
You did that well.
And so was yours. And Doug came as well. And Dan and Joe gave me the tool of choice, which was a sledgehammer.
That was great.
And I don't know how many of you really realized that this beautiful studio that we're in right now was a shambles.
Oh,
it was an old restaurant that hadn't been occupied in like 9 years.
Yep.
The dust on top of the tiles was so thick that when you pulled one of them down and the dust hit the floor, the mushroom cloud that rose from there was reminiscent of mushroom clouds you see in the video footage or film footage of atomic bombs.
Yeah, huge.
And the place was filled with dust every time we did this, to the point where I can remember noticing after we were done working in here that we both, you were telling me you had it. In fact, you were coughing pretty bad for a while because of that dust.
Yeah, and Joe gave us those little masks.
Those little masks
to wear too. So thank you, Joe, for that.
So anyway, so we tore down the walls and then the cleanup, and that was all this year. Am I wrong? Or did we do some of this in 2011? Did we do some of the tearing down?
I think we did some in 2011, and then we had to stop because of the paperwork and all that stuff, and then we started again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we started. But
so they're really inspirational, Joe and Dan, very inspirational as far as, having an idea, having a goal, and going for it, and actually, watching this whole thing come to pass. When you walk in here, I want you to know that the actual construction, we just gave you kind of an idea of who demolished the old stuff. Which takes no skill at all. Just takes a lot of
banging,
brawn, and
swinging.
And Robin almost single-handedly carried all the crap that was knocked off the walls out the back door and into those dumpsters. I mean, there was like 3 very, very, very large dumpsters. Right, that we filled up with that stuff.
Almost as big as semi-trailer.
So anyway, and then when it was all cleaned up and things were ready to start to be built, after we had demolished everything, then it was the design that Dan and Joe had worked on, and then it was the know-how that Joe Reichel and his guys from Damage Control Services were able to put these walls up, and the guys from Climate Control put the air conditioning in here, and Jim George did a lot of the fiber optics that help us go on the air right now, and Jim Trapani.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
A lot of the wiring that allows us to do what we're doing, and I am not doing the segment I wanted to do, but I got
Penn flooring.
But I got caught up on this topic.
But Penn flooring too.
Penn flooring, yes, and I'm sure we're leaving somebody out, and then just everybody who was involved with this whole project of moving over here. It was outstanding, and then the day of the move, the big day of the move, when everything had to be carried from the Cascades over to here. We had they had rented a U-Haul or a Ryder truck, or one of those kind of trucks.
Yeah.
And we literally and some of our listeners, thank you,
Mary Duckworth.
Mary came by and
Hank.
Hank. And so, as soon as you start
Robert.
Naming anybody,
okay, that's right.
Well, no, it's okay to name them. I just don't want anybody to think we're leaving you out. We just may be forgetting you. But the idea was that this year, WOCA made a huge move, and it took a lot of thought on the part of the thinkers, which was Joe and Dan. Took a lot of manpower, which was pretty much everybody else. A lot of know-how, which was pretty much everybody but you and I. So we didn't need to know anything. We just had to follow orders. Right?
That's right. They told us what to do, and we did it.
Right, which is the way it is. We have our own thing. Like I say, this is not our cup of tea building, but nevertheless, it was a remarkable thing to witness, to be a part of, and I have not at all touched on the big stories of 2013. That's our big story.
Yeah, it is huge.
That's our big story of 2013, and in doing so, by the way, the big benefit for our advertisers is that the word about what they do is more prominent, and here's why. because first of all, there's a speaker right outside these walls.
Yeah.
And so all day long, that speaker is on, whether there's somebody in here or not. And that speaker is playing those ads to all the people that walk past these walls.
Yep, it sure is.
So right there, even without turning on a radio, you've got more exposure, right?
Sure.
Second of all, you will not believe how many people come into the office now. When we were at the Cascades, once in a while, somebody would drift in, usually a guy trying to sell us, stuffed animals or something.
Yeah, I know. It was very exciting.
Or a $5 screwdriver that's got 7 heads.
Yeah, we bought one of those.
I bought one, yeah, with a flashlight in the middle.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
But here, we have so many people walking through the front door asking about the radio station, asking about advertising, asking about the radio programming, wanting to know the website for the radio station, which is WOCA.com. It's pretty,
what's going on in the community? We're trying to keep everybody abreast of that.
It has accomplished what Bob Houck accomplished in 1976. The Paddock Mall is now one of the places in this community that is very, very high traffic area.
Oh, yeah.
Same as the Cascades was back in 1976. So being there was smart then. Being here is smart now. It took a lot of work, a lot of ingenuity, a lot of confidence, a lot of belief, a lot of negotiating.
Yeah.
And everybody who did it deserves some kind of a banquet or something, an award. Not to mention we get to wave to more people here.
Yeah, we do.
We
do. Such a pristine
place. All right, I'm sorry. I didn't all this stuff I had prepared for the things that happened this year, I didn't talk about at all.
It's still the blower.
Oh, that's the guy blowing outside.
Even yeah.
Yeah, we had that at the Cascades too.
Yeah. So it's some things don't change.
All right. Well, I don't know if that was kind of a weird segment right there, but kind of blowing our own horn, but not really, not us, not you and I.
No, but I mean, everybody here is a team player, and we're always here for community because nothing gets done unless it's a community effort. When people are in need or organizations need something, it's the listeners that step up to the plate to help the community, and we just try to get the word out. And we're so grateful to be in a community of givers. And, if you want to come by and check out the studio, just to
say hi.
Just to say hi, we'll say hi to you because you are the movers of our community. You're the heart and soul that get things done.
All right. At the end of the year, we're a little melancholy here. All right.
I think so.
When we'll take a little break, go to some news in 1 Corinthians, verse 13. I never know how to say this.
Chapter
13, verse 11. I'm not a Bible scholar,
verse 11.
but I'm using this as a way to begin what we're going to talk about with Galen. It's a very fascinating topic. The Bible says that you put away childish things when you're no longer a child. The article in the New York Times says that we won't be the person we expect to be in the future. We'll actually be better.
Yes.
We will actually be better because there's this illusion, according to the article, the end of history illusion. We actually believe we have peaked, and no matter what age you are, you really haven't peaked, which is a very, very positive kind of an outlook. All right, let's push this button, and we'll be right back in just a little bit. Deal?
Deal.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom was and is built. Listen each Thursday at 9 a.m. for Veterans News with Hank Whittier, Vets Helping Vets. You will hear honorable tributes, information about veterans issues, and even some interesting stories. This program is sometimes funny, sometimes sad, and always focused on the military and first responders. Veterans News is brought to you in part by Palm Chevrolet, where supporting the community is the Palm Chevy way.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go
When you want something special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
News Talk 1370 WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Here are today's headlines from the source WOCA. Florida will press ahead with efforts to attract the fast-growing drone industry despite a failed bid to become a federal test range for the developing technology. The state was not among 6 places the Federal Aviation Administration named yesterday from among 25 applicants to research how to safely integrate unmanned aircraft systems into the national airspace as soon as the year 2015. Space Florida CEO Frank DeBello said, "The fact that we are not an FAA-designated test site does not mean we won't be a national test site of our own." Space Florida's plan offered a network of up to 12 ranges across 4 areas of the state, including Cape Canaveral, and included a mobile system for tracking test flights. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio was disappointed that Florida lost out on this opportunity to utilize its aerospace expertise, but he also is confident that it will continue to be a leader in the aerospace industry. The FAA awards provide no funding, but are expected to position the winners at the forefront of an industry expected to grow to $11.6 billion annual spending within a decade. The winners were the University of Alaska, State of Nevada, Griffith International Airport in upstate New York, North Dakota Department of Commerce, Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi, and Virginia Tech. A fledgling move is afoot to legalize a lighter strain of medical marijuana in the Sunshine State. 2 Florida representatives, Katie Edwards and Matt Getz, are taking steps to help families statewide gain access to a strain of marijuana that's shown promise in treating children who suffer from seizures. The strain, known as Charlotte's Web and available only in Colorado, is high in cannabidiol, or CBD for short, which experts say can reduce and even eliminate seizures. Charlotte's Web has a low THC content, the component that gives marijuana users a high. Although 21 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized medical marijuana, the federal government still lists cannabis as a highly addictive and dangerous Schedule I drug, along with heroin and LSD. A looming Florida Supreme Court decision might let voters decide in November whether the state should legalize cannabis to treat disease. Unemployment benefits will end for many unemployed Floridians who, after collecting checks for more than 20 weeks, will no longer receive their monthly benefits. Congress adjourned for the holidays without reaching any agreement to extend the federal emergency unemployment benefits, and that means more than 1 million unemployed Americans, including about 75,000 in Florida, have suddenly stopped receiving their weekly checks beginning this past Saturday. A bipartisan bill that extends federal unemployment for an additional 3 months is expected to be filed once Congress returns to work on January 6. Large bones found on the beach this weekend by 10-year-old Colton Boomer proved to be those of a beaked whale buried at Marineland in August, according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Colton found the bones on Saturday while taking a walk on the beach with his family, who spend weekends at their hammock home. Pictures were taken and posted on Facebook, which drew speculation for a day or two about what type of creature the bones might belong to, but within hours, 2 biologists from the Wildlife Commission made their way from across the state to look at the bones in person. Biologist Tom Titchford met colleague Nadia Gordon, a marine mammal biologist with the Wildlife Commission, who performed a field necropsy on August 23rd on a female beaked whale that washed ashore to the north at Marineland. She confirmed that the bones found belonged to that female whale. Flagler County buried the whale after coordinating with the State Department of Environmental Protection because its condition was so bad the body could not be moved for the necropsy. And those are the headlines from the source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. For today, intervals of clouds and sunshine. The high 67 to 71. Tonight will be partly cloudy with lows ranging from 54 in the northernmost part of the zone to about 64 along the coast. For tomorrow, New Year's Day, mostly cloudy with a shower or two. The highs ranging from the mid-60s up north to the mid-70s in the south. Thursday, some rain and a thunderstorm. Highs in the low 70s up north, 82 in the south. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, Robin. You look tired.
I am. I've been running all over town.
Why? Why not drive?
I need to get this stupid document notarized.
Oh, that's easy. You need personal service.
Duh. That's what I've been looking for.
You need to go see Mark at the Personal Service Center. He can notarize that for you, make copies, fax it wherever, or send it out in the mail. Heck, he can even scan it and email it for you.
Really? Where is he at?
2375 Northeast 25th Avenue, on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street. You can call him at 789-6683.
Personal Service Center. Thanks, Larry.
All right, thank you, Robin. It's 8 o'clock, and it is right on 8 o'clock. I mean, we're like 10 seconds away, so might as well get the ID out of the way, and then we'll move forward. Galen Unil is on the phone to remind us of the importance of giving blood. And let's say good morning, Galen. Then I'll say this is WOCA Ocala. Good morning, Galen.
Good morning, Larry, Robin. How are y'all?
Good. This is WOCA Ocala.
Amen. The source.
The source. There you go. Can you imagine if that was our tagline? Amen.
That would be great.
That'd be a good tagline for a religious radio station.
There you go.
We're WOCA. Amen.
Yes.
I wonder if anybody's ever used that. It seems
They
like,
will now. They heard it from me.
Nah, probably somebody has. Everything you think you've thought up, somebody has already thought of.
Usually true, isn't it?
So how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Excited about today. Today's a fun day, so.
Oh, that's right. This is your day to compete with your colleagues.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm excited. I love today.
And how do we support you or them?
Well, just show up and give blood at the Walmart on Wedgwood Road, and that's pretty much it. Or any other place if you don't want me to win. Your
okay.
Prerogative, I guess.
Okay.
You can donate at the other Bloodmobile. The Walmart on Silver Springs Boulevard.
Okay, so but you're going to be at the Bloodmobile itself.
In the villages.
Yeah. Well, I'll be standing outside of the Bloodmobile itself. Yeah.
See, we've never done this. We've never gone to give blood when Galen was there.
Well, and we can't because we gave blood 2 weeks ago.
I know,
guess.
but I'm saying it's never aligned.
I know.
It's like planets.
Yeah. Maybe next year it'll be aligned.
There you go.
So you're most of the time you're up in Gainesville. We could give blood up there, right? We could go to Gainesville, give blood, and then we'd see you.
Yeah. As long as you came over to the 36 or the Newberry exit, or Newberry Road, and told me you were there, I could come see you. Sure.
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah. There you go. I'd come down and see you.
We brought you a snack.
That's right.
Everything's a snack. When does it go from being a snack to being more than a snack?
Ooh,
like the hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres. Where's that line?
Yeah,
if you're not hungry after an hors d'oeuvre,
yeah,
then it was too much. Because I think the hors d'oeuvre is just supposed to whet your appetite more than anything else.
So I wouldn't have called that heavy hors d'oeuvres at that party, by the way.
No.
That seemed to me like just regular food.
Yeah, a meal.
That was a meal.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I mean,
yeah,
it was pretty awesome. I was like, wow, that's more than I expected.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I had already eaten, but I didn't want to be rude, so what did I do? I ate again.
Good for you.
And why is it rude if you don't eat? I don't understand that.
I'm not sure, Larry. I'm not sure, but, who am I to ask that question?
It's like when there's Jerry Seinfeld does this thing, comedians in cars getting coffee. And he goes to have coffee with Larry David, and Larry David decides to have tea. And Jerry's a little put out by that. Come on, we were going to have coffee together. And Larry is like, what's the difference? I'm drinking a hot beverage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
but you're having coffee, we have coffee.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was an entire Seinfeld episode.
I know.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Because he owed this guy a favor. He was going to take him out to eat, and he didn't get a full meal. And it's pretty funny.
Oh, I think I remember that one.
You have a salad?
Yeah, a salad. And was it a soup? It was a soup. It may have been a soup, Larry. It may have been a salad. But either way, it's really funny.
We had a guest, oh my goodness, years ago, and she was a weight loss author, and her thing was cake. She didn't want to eat any more cake, but she realized it was rude to not eat cake at a birthday. So she had 13 birthdays in her family, and she loved pie. So she said, I'm going to have 13 pieces of cake this year because I don't want to be rude, and I'm going to have one piece of pie on Thanksgiving because I love pie.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I do, and it worked for her, and she had a good attitude about it. It worked.
It's just rude to not have a piece of
You just
cake.
hope, let's be honest, like if you make that kind of a resolution, you just hope that it's not a bad cake, right? Because you're putting a lot of expectations on that one piece, and you want to make sure it's not, really dry or, like upside down pineapple cake, and you hate pineapple. You know what I mean? There's a lot of expectations for that one piece.
Yeah.
Galen, were you there when you guys moved into the location you're at now on the boulevard?
No. That happened in like the early 90s.
So somebody must have
been there for a while before I got there.
Somebody must have had a sledgehammer for that old restaurant, huh?
I would think so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know it was a pretty extensive remodel, and then when we remodeled it, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago or so, it was in desperate need of being remodeled. For the parts that people don't see, the back end of the house and stuff like that is what we really focused on, outside of paint and flooring and everything. But we put a lot of work into that building. When we first remodeled it.
There's a new building going up next to the Ocean Buffet, the Chinese restaurant on 200. And there's no sign indicating what it is. It looks like a 2-story building with no windows.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what it is.
And it's kind of small, so it's not like a convenience store or an auto parts store.
You think it's a bank? Do banks have windows? No.
Some have
windows.
windows.
We have enough banks. I mean, nothing against banks. But every building that they build in this town is a bank.
But we have enough everything, really.
We could use some more restaurants on my side of town.
On your side of town,
Oh, that's right. That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but this is here on 200. There's plenty of restaurants here.
Well, 200, yeah.
You know what's amazing to me?
Northeast side, there's not a lot.
Every single time we have a list of the best restaurants in town, the Amaret Palace always comes out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, I've never eaten...
We should eat there
I was
going to
say I've never eaten there, but no, I don't think I ever have.
Not even when it was in that tiny
That's what I'm
building
trying to
by the
remember
gas
if I
station.
did. I don't think I did.
They're a success story, too, because they were in that tiny station by that gas
Well, they're the best in town.
station, and then they,
Shouldn't say
built
too
a
much.
brand
They're
new
not a
building,
sponsor,
yeah.
but
I don't know how many Indian food places there are in town, but it's good Indian food. I enjoy it.
you do.
Yeah.
So your curry doesn't get to you. Because see, curry, I have a hard time with curry.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem. I try to eat everything. I don't eat a ton of it.
All right, so
that's for sure.
So that's going to be one of my resolutions. I'm gonna go in there. It's supposed to be one of the best. It's supposed to be the best place in town.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, can I have something without curry?
I think so. They're probably accommodating.
Worth a shot.
And then Dr. Lang will always tell you that curry is really good for you. It does something good for you.
I'm sure it does.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, are you home today? Oh no, that's right. No, I'm sorry. You're going
I'm
to
not, Larry.
Wedgwood Road.
It sounds like you're home. Is why I'm asking.
I am right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As of this very moment, I am.
All right. Well, I have something I want to talk to you about that is an article from the New York Times, and it reminded me of a Bible verse. I don't know if you heard me talking about this. I'm not a Bible scholar, but I always remember things from the Bible. Then I got to look them up and find out where they are.
Sure.
You do. You've got good memory.
When Pastor Snyder was here, or Pastor Smith,
Mhm.
anybody, they and even the rabbi, they always know what verse, everything.
Yeah.
It is their job.
Yeah. It's just hard to believe. All right, so here's the thing from the Bible, from the King James Version. It says in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11 says, "When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things." So that's the verse that I was thinking of. Of course, I couldn't have recited it to you without looking it up. After reading an article in the New York Times titled, "Why You Won't Be the Person You Expect to Be." It's a fascinating subject, and it's a phenomenon that psychologists are calling the end of history illusion. Let me just read a little bit of it, because then I want to kind of pick your brain about this.
All right.
Just give credit where credit is due. It was published this morning. No. Oh, I'm sorry. It was published January 3rd, 2013. Oh, this is a year old. Wonder why I only just saw it. Okay, well, anyway. When we were our past selves, when we remember our past selves, they seem, I guess the memories, quite different. We know how much our personalities and tastes have changed over the years, but when we look ahead, somehow we expect ourselves to stay the same. A team of psychologists said describing research they conducted of people's self-perceptions. They called the phenomenon the end of history illusion, in which people tend to underestimate how much they will change in the future. According to the research, which involved more than 19,000 people between the ages of 18 and 68, the illusion persists whether you're a teenager or way into retirement. Now, just stop there and go back a second. If you go back to let me put it to you this way. When I was a new dad, I was all over the place on the map geographically because I was playing colleges, music in colleges. Mm-hmm. And I told myself I'm going to stay home because I have a child now. I'm not going to keep driving all over the place and not be home. And so I literally put whatever music ambitions I had on hold. But I didn't realize that 20 years later, everything would change. For some reason, I thought it's going to stay. It didn't even occur to me that musical tastes, everything would change in 20 years. That whatever musical style I had developed back then wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
in the future. Nor did I realize I was going to get old. For some reason, I thought I'm just going to stay like this.
Yeah, and you think that way.
But when you look back 20 years, you have no problem seeing the changes. So it's absolutely true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
True.
Very true. But see, the conclusion to this is that we actually become better in the future than we think we're going to become. It says middle-aged people often look back on their teenage selves with a mixture of amusement and chagrin. A psychologist at Harvard says and his name is Daniel T. Gilbert, he said, what we never seem to realize is that our future selves will look back and think the very same thing about who we are today, regardless of the age we are. Other psychologists say they were intrigued by the findings that were published in the Journal of Science and were impressed by the amount of supporting evidence. Participants were asked about their personality traits and preferences, their favorite foods from 20 years ago, if they were old enough to go back that far, their favorite vacations, their favorite hobbies, their favorite bands. And by the way, there's a difference between music and sports in this, a very big difference. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
Because I would think so, yeah.
Because the team you rooted for 20 years ago, no problem, you could still be rooting for that team today.
That's right.
As long as they're still around.
As long as the team is still around. The players are different.
Yeah.
But
as long as they're still around, like the Brooklyn Dodgers or something like that.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
But like my friends in New York with the Jets and the Mets.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
they've been rooting for the Jets and the Mets since I was a kid. Okay.
Right.
But the Beatles, come on. Music really changes a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but you're still, but the thing about music is you still enjoy it from that time period.
From the time period, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Beatles were your favorite group growing up, they're still probably your favorite group.
But the old stuff, I don't know. If I listen to...
Right? We're talking about okay, let me give you an example. If you grew up, and I'm going to use my time period, if you grew up liking Journey, right, in the 80s,
right,
you still like Journey. Now, that's because it was more of a mainstream band, but now the eclectic group like, I don't know.
Train.
Yeah, there you go. And then that's probably a little different unless you're passionate about it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay, no, I do know what you mean, and I don't disagree with what you said the way you said it, but I'm going to say it a different way.
All right.
If I went to see Billy Joel today, because he still performs, or Elton John today.
Yeah.
Elton John and Billy Joel, two good examples.
Mm-hmm.
They still perform well, but if I was expecting to hear them the way they sounded 20 or 30 years ago, I would be so disappointed because they just can't do it anymore.
No.
Okay.
No, I agree with that. But if you heard their record, right, that you would still enjoy it.
Yeah, well, that's like watching a video of a football game from 30 years ago.
Oh, no, that would be miserable. You already know who won. I'm not one of these people who, unless it's the Red Sox, I guess. It's very rare. It has to be a really memorable game and a phenomenal game for me to go back and watch an event where I knew what already happened.
Okay, but take all the players that were on the Red Sox in 1968, let's say, if they're still around, and put them on the field today and put yourself in the stand and watch that game. Would you enjoy that game?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, sure.
They'd be slower. I wonder how good they'd be.
Well, they would probably they would be. Well, take the same players and you bring them back 20 years, and they would probably dominate, just because of the evolution of the athlete.
Have they ever done that? Has that ever happened where you take an old lineup,
yeah,
just for exhibition purposes or something?
Well, it's hard to compare. I mean, because all right, think about this. If you look at like all the world records in any Olympics, how many get shattered year after year after year? You know, I mean, 50 years ago, if you ran a 4-minute mile, you were one of the fastest people in the world. Now, if you run a 6-minute mile. Now, if you run a 6-minute mile, you're a 15-year-old. I mean, that's how fast.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, I mean, they thought that if you ran that fast, your heart would explode.
All right, let's take another arena. Let's say a boxer. Lost a bout in 1976.
Okay.
And now
Muhammad Ali.
And now he's saying, you know what, I should have won that one. And so he calls up the other guy. He says, I want a rematch.
Yeah.
Now they're equal. They both aged.
Well, you know what that is? Yeah. That's called the movie The Grudge Match.
Oh, really? Is a movie like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about this one then? How about this one? The girl that wouldn't go out with you and went out with your friend instead, right? Mm-hmm. You call her up today, because let's assume that you're single, and you say, you know, I struck out with you 30 years ago. Could I have a shot at it now?
Yeah. There you go.
But by the way, here's Galen. This is Guy Talk here. We're gonna
I'm here.
Share notes. There's a song on the charts this year called "Cruise."
Yeah.
By the Florida Georgia Line.
Correct.
That's
I'm familiar with that one.
Okay. And basically, they're talking about cruising down the beach, looking at the girls in the bikinis.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, first of all, every guy enjoys this.
Sure.
But let me tell you something, and I don't know that this is true for you yet, but at my age, it's way different than it was when I was that age. It's like looking at daughters. It's like looking at children.
Yeah. And I had a friend of mine explain this really well.
What's his name, Larry?
And he said, his name was Gene. He said, as we get older, the things that the women, our taste in women, should get older as well. So, in other words, when you're 12, you should look at other 12-year-olds.
Which I did.
You know, and then when you're 15, you should look at other 15-year-olds.
Right.
And that's the natural way that it should go on. And I think he's absolutely right. Like now, if you look at an 18-year-old, like, oh my gosh, cover yourself up.
It's
You're
creepy.
Somebody's daughter. Yeah, it is creepy.
Right.
It's creepy for an old guy to look at a young girl.
And you know what? If there's an 18-year-old that's looking at a 40-year-old, that's creepy too.
Yeah.
Well, she's not seeing the guy; she's seeing the money.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's probably true.
So anyway, it goes back to that verse about the things that were once childish I put away, and using the Ninja Turtles as an example is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. Because while somebody like Alex, who loved the Ninja Turtles when he was a kid, might have a fond memory of them, he doesn't embrace them, or the Pokemon cards.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
He might have a fond memory, one or two, like, oh, this is cool, I remember this. Kind of like the way we put, Bugs Bunny pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I agree with you there.
I don't know. So so in conclusion to this, using the New York Times article on this, the end of history illusion, you're not the most developed you'll ever be at any given point. You're always going to develop more than you think you will.
And it should be that way.
Yeah.
No matter how subtle it is, you should move forward in some respect.
So I guess that was the conclusion of the article anyway. The phenomenon does have its downsides. For instance, people make decisions in their youth about getting a tattoo or their choice of a spouse, and they sometimes regret it.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's
now here's the part of the article that talks about music. When asked about their favorite band from a decade ago, respondents were typically willing to shell out $80 to see a concert of the band today.
Mm-hmm,
$80 to see the band that you were that you loved 10 years ago. But when they were asked about their favorite band and how much they would spend 10 years from now, the band that they were in love with 10 years ago, they said they spend $129 on average.
Mm-hmm.
But the
probably
band,
the same equivalent.
but the band wouldn't. I don't know. See,
The band would be different, but for that moment, you're that age again, even though you're not. That's what I think.
although it is kind of fun to see Mick Jagger jumping around, even though
Yeah.
he's 80, whatever he is.
Right, exactly. Him and Keith.
Or you know what's a cool one when you see Tony Bennett. I mean, this is a guy who's still belting it out, and
Yeah, but he's one of those legends.
you still kind of admire him. He's not.
Yeah, he's more. He falls into the legend category, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, where it's just like, wow, Tony Bennett. You get, it'd be like seeing Sinatra almost, or.
But when
You know what? Barry Manilow will fall into that category at some point in his life.
he hopes so.
Yeah.
I think he will. I mean, let's be honest. We all want to go back to the Copa. Cabana.
But then there are people that just don't get out of that time frame. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
they live
just
in the
they're
past, yeah.
stuck right there. Everything exists right there, and they can't move. They won't allow themselves to move forward, and then you got to feel sorry for them.
I don't feel sorry for them. That's their choice.
There
You have a lot more empathy in your life than I do.
No, well, 1 year from now,
Donate blood on Wedgwood Road for
What-
Galen.
1 year from now, we have we'll be one year better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're better this year than we were last year.
I think so.
In theory.
Yeah, we're still goofy.
You're in the Paddock Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a plus. That's a plus.
Yeah, but 2
Things
years ago
change.
I was in the Cascades, and last year I was. So last year was I better than 2 years ago?
I think so.
Larry.
Something happened. I don't remember. Oh well. All right, Robin. We
Yes.
need a segue, I guess, from whatever we were talking about.
Well, no matter how things change, sometimes there is only one thing that stays the same, and that's a person's compassion for their fellow human being and their sense of adventure. So go down to Wedgwood Road in the Villages and donate at the Life South Community Blood Center bus so Galen can have a shot of being one of the top recipients of the most number of donors today. And remember, you can have fun down there. You know, just tell jokes with Galen and just exchange banter because he's a fun person to talk to.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be
That's
looking
true.
for somebody to talk to at some point. I can tell you that.
Is your mascot going to be there too? Does he make the rounds at the Bloodmobile sometimes?
My son will be with me, and he loves to wear that thing.
Oh, nice.
Oh, your son is
That's
is
great.
in the
Yeah,
costume.
absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, you guys have fun today. Thank you for all you do again. We'll see you and talk to you in 2014.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. So, I hope to see you guys or everybody out there.
Are you going to be up at midnight?
No, I'll be asleep by like 9:30, like I always am.
Me too. I fall asleep
Unless
on
there's
the
a
couch.
good football game on. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen a ball drop. New Year's Eve is one of those things that young people do. Maybe you do it later in your life when you don't have children.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just don't do it.
I haven't done it yet. It's on my bucket list. My bucket list is to be in Times Square just one time.
Yeah,
On New Year's Eve.
You know, but here's the thing. Like when you're like in your 20s, you wouldn't care if you were with all the masses, right? But now, like at a certain point, you're like, no, I don't want to deal with the crowd.
Oh, the way you do it.
I need a place to sit down.
Well, go-
I'm going to need some heat. I'm going to need a bathroom. So now you're going to the VIP area.
Yeah.
You end up sitting in an enclosed area.
That's true.
That's really what you end up
I
doing.
forgot about the bathroom part.
I mean, and when you're 20, in your 20s, you don't think about where the bathroom is.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Now, well, where's the bathroom? That's
Exactly.
one of the first thing you scope out.
It's one,
Of course.
it's one of the reasons Joe didn't want to take that pontoon boat ride on the river.
Yeah.
It's probably true. That's one of those jokes that's half truth. Yeah.
But you could go to Epcot tonight.
I wouldn't have looked.
Big Epcot fireworks.
Yeah.
And again, that would be something that you could pull off because you wouldn't have to, you'd have a bathroom and,
Yeah.
at least you'd get something to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have
Because
an
that's the other
area.
thing. like if you ate street fare now, Larry, you'd be like, oh my God, I've got indigestion. I need a roll. You know what I mean? You just get old. Yeah, that's funny.
All right. Well, you have. Let's see.
Go to the train station.
Go to see Galen.
There you go. Yeah, like
Just-
Robin with the train station.
I know the train
right, it's
station.
romantic.
Isn't that a Valentine's Day thing, or is that a
Yeah.
New Year's thing?
Well, New
you know
Year's
what?
Day thing and
It's so good you can do it anytime you want. Let's be honest.
All right. So
You don't need an excuse to go hang out at a train station.
go to
It's
the
not
train
even a
station
bus
at midnight
now.
tonight. There's probably not much happening over there.
You know, the last time we talked about it was at least a bus station.
Yeah.
Now it's not even a bus station.
Yeah, no balls dropping over there. Wow.
No.
Never mind. I take that back.
Boom.
Yeah. All right. Go have fun. Go see Galen. Donate blood. Help him win or not. And then you can also go to the Boulevard on Silver Springs Boulevard. That would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Donate blood over at that place next to the Cascades. In Denellen, where would you go, Robin?
Right next door to Sweet Bay.
There.
Sweet Bay.
Happy New Year, Galen.
Hey, Happy New Year to you guys, and thank you guys for everything that you do for us. It makes a tremendous impact on
I
the
hope so.
patients that we serve. It really does.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, the true winners are the recipients of the blood that
That's
is
it.
being donated today.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And it could be us. But knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Galen.
All right, thanks you guys.
We'll
Bye,
take
all.
a little break and be right back.
Alice?
George?
Yes, Alice?
Christmas is over. Time to get all the decorations down.
Yes, I know.
So you're going to stuff them in the garage and attic again in our way?
No.
No.
Yes. No.
No.
Yes.
George, what are you up to?
I'm storing all the stuff in Devon Self-Storage across from Hobby Lobby.
Better call them at 873-0777 and get extra boxes.
Gee, Alice, what would I do without you and Devon Self-Storage?
I know, George. I know.
On the next Voice of Ocala is Trivianator Tuesday with Tom. It's your chance to go up against me, the Trivianator. Free gift cards to Mojo's, tickets to the historic Marion Theater, and even some free golf at golf courses around our area. Plus, it's around the water cooler. Buddy Martin, myself, Josh LaSalva, will discuss the hot topics in sports and get you set up for the New Year's Bowl games. All that and more on the next Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Plumbing. I see. Ooh, we can try to fix that. I'll send someone right over. How's the third Wednesday of next month sound? Say between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Would that be fine? Of course it will. Now I'll just need your credit card information.
Does that sound all too familiar? Well, next time, call Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it. We schedule around your time, not ours. And we have straight time, anytime, all the time. That means we're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. We install traditional and tankless water heaters, repipes, drain repair, septic service and installation, irrigation systems, new construction, remodels, bathrooms, kitchens, even gas line installation and service. And we've been doing it all for over 25 years. So call today, 237-2888. That's 237-2888. And remember, if water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
All right, 27 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's take a look at the price of gasoline. Right now in Ocala, a gallon of regular unleaded on average is $3.38 a gallon. And that's just a half cent less than it was yesterday, $3.38.2. as opposed to 338.9, so that was yesterday. The best price I can tell you, about 1 hour ago, Denellen called in from their Sunoco station with $3.25 a gallon over there in Denellen at the Sunoco station. And 3 hours ago in the Villages, the Shell station called up on LeGrand Boulevard, $3.28 a gallon down there. And that's it. Those are the two I have. Here we go. We'll go to other news right away. All right, these are the stories that just don't fit anywhere else. We call this segment Other News. We've only got about 2 minutes to do it, so let me squeeze as much in as I can. The first story comes out of Port of Ness, Scotland. A Scottish oil rig worker set a record by eating half a pickled baby gannet. Well, that is. And 14.1 ounces of potatoes in just 3 minutes and 44 seconds.
Oh, my gosh.
Peter McCritchie, who's 33 years old, ate half of a guga, the Gaelic name for a gannet, and his required serving of potatoes in 3 minutes and 44 seconds Saturday.
Wow.
Anybody know what a gannet is?
No, I have to look that up. That
look it
sounds
up.
interesting. It's a fish.
Next, it might be a fish. The next story is out of South Carolina. A South Carolina woman was arrested and charged with criminal domestic violence of a high and aggravated nature after she allegedly stabbed her husband with a ceramic squirrel when he came home on Christmas morning with no beer.
Oh, there you go. Gosh, that's...
You gotta be kidding. You didn't come home with the beer?
Yeah,
Where's that squirrel?
That's right. She's a nasty person. I'd divorce her.
The next story comes out of Ada, Oklahoma. Ada, ADA. An Oklahoma man who found a memory card in a picture frame he bought at a Goodwill store said he was able to reunite its owners with their photographs and videos. George Chaplin said he and his wife were going through old boxes at their home Christmas Day when they came across the digital picture frame and its memory card. The card was filled with what appeared to be family pictures, priceless family pictures. They found the family and were able to return the card.
Oh.
The digital card, you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Okay.
We know that, what those are.
we're the modern people.
That's right. That's right.
One more story real quickly out of Alabama. An Alabama couple say their fondness for the University of Alabama led them to name their newborn son Crimson Tide.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. The boy was born December 17th. His name is Crimson Tide.
Go Gators.
All right, we've got to push forward and go to Mike Huckabee, and we'll do News Bites after that.
This is the Huckabee Report for this New Year's Eve. I'm Mike Huckabee, seeing out the old year with the greatest Huck's criminal masterminds of 2013. More after this.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really? Yeah.
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-467-7530, 800-467-7530.
One of my favorite segments of the Huckabee Report involves crooks who may not be competent at their jobs, but they make up for it with creativity as they constantly invent hilarious new ways to screw up. Like the Huck's criminal mastermind from Trinity, Florida, who pulled into a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, claimed to be a police officer and demanded a discount. When the clerk refused, he allegedly held up a gun and said, "See, I'm a cop." Well, it still didn't work. He actually came back the next day. So the police set up a sting operation at Dunkin' Donuts. Wonder how many volunteers they had for that. The guy just wanted a donut discount, but he ended up being charged with impersonating an officer and improper exhibition of a firearm. So here's my question. How dumb must you be not to figure that the staff at Dunkin' Donuts already knew every cop in town? Banks are always a great temptation to Huck's criminal masterminds. One woman from Long Island struck out at bank robbery twice in one day. At the first bank, she demanded $5,000, but the teller directed her to a customer service representative. She walked over and sat down. He pushed the alarm button under his desk and fled. About an hour later, she entered another branch claiming to have a bomb. This time, she got the money, along with a dye pack that exploded, covering her with ink. Oh, she was taken away to jail, and that's too bad because by then, she had something to complain about to that customer service representative. And then there was the Huck's criminal mastermind who entered a Chase Bank in Manhattan, handed over a note claiming he had a bomb and demanding money. The teller told him she didn't read notes. He'd have to fill out a withdrawal slip. As he was writing the same note on the withdrawal slip, she told a coworker in Spanish that she was being robbed. She then told the would-be thief that he'd have to swipe his bank card before he could get any cash. He replied, "Ma'am, I ain't got no time for this," and fled. Well, I don't know if this story reflects the stupidity of modern criminals or just how much we've all gotten used to putting up with lousy customer service. Finally, at least one Huck's criminal mastermind in 2013 took planning his crime seriously. Back in March, police in Massachusetts caught him in the act of breaking into a home and stealing from a UPS package. He was carrying a blackjack, diabetic supplies allegedly taken from the box, 24 pieces of jewelry that he couldn't explain, and a notebook. In it, he'd written out a to-do list of goals for that day. It included getting a gold watch, finding some crystal meth, committing a burglary, selling drugs, getting some coke, and performing one random act of kindness for a stranger. Well, at least he accomplished the last one. The police were strangers, and he sure made their job a lot easier. And this is the Huckabee Report.
Whenever we talk about cancer, we always use the same word: someday. Someday there'll be a cure. Someday we won't lose the people we love. But when is someday? Someday is today. Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, hundreds of thousands diagnosed with blood cancer are today living a normal life. In the past 12 years, half the cancer therapies approved by the FDA were first approved for blood cancer patients, many with research supported by LLS. We are on the brink of life-changing breakthroughs. You can make these happen sooner. Call 888-HELP-LLS or visit LLS.org. Help us make cures happen. Help us reach today sooner. Call 888-HELP-LLS or visit LLS.org.
The Huckabee Report is brought to you by Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, Ocala.
Howdy, RL here to tell you about a great deal at Dairy Queen. For only $4.49, you can warm up to a hot, juicy combo of either a foot-long, quarter-pound all-beef chili dog or a tasty home-style cheeseburger, smoking hot off the char grill. Both get fries and a drink. You can add a sundae for only 99 cents. Now that's a doggone good deal at Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
Hey, it's Christy with Ocala Mac and PC Repair and Ocala Guest Wi-Fi to let you know we have you covered. We are the only local certified Apple and Microsoft computer company in Ocala. We are family owned and operated. From mobile repair to wireless networks, viruses, new systems, or security cameras, we do it all. Check us out online, ocalamacpc.com, or give us a call, 352-566-8324.
Tell them Nick, Madison, or Mason sent you and get free diagnostic.
Get your internet telephone service from the company that brought affordable internet service to Ocala in the first place. All is Safe is a sister company of Ocala Guest Wi-Fi, a company you've known and trusted for all your internet needs. Whether you need a phone or hundreds, we've got the products and services to meet your needs both now and in the future. Our plans include everything from local and long-distance calling to equipment maintenance and even software upgrades. You can count on All is Safe to give you cost certainty knowing that your bill will be the same next week, next month, or even next year. Call 352-450-8647 today to learn how to cut your monthly telephone bill up to 60%.
It's cold in here.
Ooh, it's hot in here.
It's just right in this house.
Looks like 1 out of 3 know about climate control mechanical services in Ocala. The first didn't call 291-0185. The second didn't know to call 291-0185. The third called 291-0185. So the moral of the story? To know is one thing, but to know and take action is another. Climate control mechanical services. Just right.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
right, 22 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday, the last day of 2013. It's time for News Bites. This is the portion of AM Ocala Live where we read the news to you. The news, that should be. And we do it in abbreviated form. We shorten it so that you can hear just enough so that you know what's going on, and we'll move on to the next story. If you'd like to know more about any of these stories, go on your internet connection, whether it's your tablet, your computer, whatever it is you use, your phone, and go to the resource that we will tell you we got our part from. Usually it's ABC, Associated Press, Reuters, Fox News, CNN, and any other number of news agencies that we get the stories from. We do this to put news back into news talk. It's our 23 minutes worth of doing that. And then it's your opportunity in 20 or 23 minutes to catch up on as much news as possible without spending all day listening to the radio or watching TV or with the newspaper. Mm-hmm. All right. First story comes out of North Dakota, and I'm getting it from ABC News. And it's a developing story. It looks like officials are urging residents of a small North Dakota town to evacuate after a mile-long train carrying crude oil collided with another train, triggering a series of thunderous explosions and sending toxic fumes into the air. About 2,400 people live in Castleton, a mile from yesterday's fiery derailment. The Cass County Sheriff's Office is strongly recommending an evacuation of the city of Castleton and anyone living 5 miles to the south and east of the town. The main concern for resident safety is related to the fumes from the fire. According to Cass County Sheriff's spokeswoman, Sergeant Tara Morris, there's a high-pressure system coming in that is expected to push the plume of smoke into town. Cass County Sheriff Paul Laney said, quote, "Our job right now is to protect the citizens of Castleton and the surrounding area, and that's what we intend to do," unquote. About 65% of residents had already evacuated the area as of last night, according to the Cass County Sheriff's Office. People who have respiratory conditions such as asthma, emphysema, or bronchitis are urged to stay inside if they have not already evacuated.
New York City has sued Federal Express Corporation, accusing it of illegally delivering millions of contraband cigarettes to people's homes and seeking $52 million in fines and unpaid taxes. The lawsuit, filed in U.S. District Court in Manhattan, marks one of the last acts by the administration of Mayor Michael Bloomberg, whose more than decade-old campaign to ban smoking in various public and private places has been credited with saving thousands of lives and became a blueprint for other cities. According to the city, package delivery company FedEx created a public nuisance through its partnership with Shinnecock Smoke Shop, located on the Shinnecock Indian Nation Reservation in Southampton, New York, to ship untaxed cigarettes to residential homes. Reported by Reuters.
And the next story is from ABC News. President Obama and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton are once again the two most admired people in the world, according to a poll conducted by the Gallup Poll Company. The distinction is something of a perk of the job of Obama. The sitting president has won 57 times in the past 67 years that the question has been asked. 16% say he's the most admired man, followed not so closely by former President George W. Bush, who takes 4% of the vote. Pope Francis, of whom 69% of Americans approve, according to a recent ABC News Washington Post poll, ties with Bush for second and third place with 4% of the vote.
If all goes well, the first launch of the new year from the Cape should take place with the year 2014 less than a week old. Private contractor SpaceX is slated to launch a communications satellite on the afternoon of Friday, January the 3rd. The plan is to use the company's enhanced Falcon 9 rocket to send a commercial telecom satellite into space at the opening of a launch window that lasts for a little more than an hour, according to SpaceX. The launch is targeted for 5:50 p.m. Eastern Time, but it could go as late as 6:57 p.m. Eastern Time. The payload is the Thycom 6 satellite, which is intended to provide satellite TV service to parts of South and Southeast Asia, along with other coverage zones. This will mark the second launch of the enhanced Falcon 9 from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Base. It will also be the second time SpaceX has used the facility to launch a commercial ComSat into a geostationary orbit. Literally, a month will separate the two launches, since the first took place December the 3rd of this year, reported by the Florida News Network.
And this story is from the Associated Press. A caller told an emergency dispatcher that a masked man raced into a Phoenix bank and then calmly described how police gunned down the suspect minutes later as he fled with a bag of cash. They're shooting, the 911 caller said. 10 seconds later, one guy down. He's down, he said. The caller, who was getting breakfast at a nearby restaurant, said the wounded man was on the ground and not moving. The 911 call and surveillance footage taken during the weekend heist were released yesterday as investigators tried to piece together how the man connected to 2 bank robberies in the Southeast last week ended up 1,500 miles away in Phoenix. Mario Edward Garnett, who is 40 years old, died in a police shootout Saturday morning while trying to flee the Compass Bank branch in West Phoenix. Authorities have connected Garnett to a December 23rd bank robbery attempt in Atlanta, a bank robbery later that same day in Tupelo, Mississippi, and the shooting death of Tupelo police officer Gail Stauffer and the wounding of Officer Joseph Mayer. The robberies came about 5 months after Garnett was released from federal prison. He was incarcerated for nearly 2 years after pleading guilty to threatening to kill President Barack Obama in 2010.
It was a quiet day on Wall Street, but the Dow still managed to notch another record. The Dow Jones Industrial Average yesterday posted its 51st closing high of this year. The S&P 500 edged lower, but is still near record highs. The Nasdaq also ended modestly lower. Trading volumes are expected to be anemic this week as many investors and traders take time off of work. U.S. markets will be closed Wednesday, tomorrow for New Year's Day. And this is a quote from Bill Stone, Chief Investment Strategist at PNC Wealth Management. The markets in the week ahead are expected to be subdued given the holiday-shortened trading across the globe and a lack of substantive economic releases scheduled. Stocks ended little changed Friday, but they're capping off a stellar year, reported by CNN.
And this story from the Associated Press, a Chinese doctor has admitted in court that she stole babies from the hospital where she worked and sold them to human traffickers. Zhang Shuzia, a locally respected and soon-to-retire obstetrician, stood trial yesterday in northern Shaanxi Province's Fuping County. According to online postings from the court, Zhang told parents their newborns had congenital problems and persuaded them to sign and give the babies up. According to the court records, calls to the Weinan Intermediate People's Court and the local Communist Party propaganda department went unanswered. From the Associated Press, the case exposed the operations of a baby trafficking ring that operated across several provinces centering on Zhang, who delivered babies at the hospital. Child trafficking is a big problem in China despite severe legal punishment that include the death penalty. Families who buy trafficked children are driven partly by the traditional preference for male heirs, a strict one-child policy, and ignorance of the law.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry that Israel would not release any Israeli Arab prisoners in the fourth and final release, Channel 2 reported last night, citing an Israeli official. Israel has been reluctant to release those prisoners that, unlike the Palestinian prisoners, live within the Green Line and have an Israeli ID. Netanyahu has reportedly asked the Shin Bet and the Israeli Prison Service to compile a list of other prisoners to replace the Israeli Arab prisoners already on the list. The Prime Minister's office, however, said that Israel never committed itself at any stage to release Israeli Arabs. A decision to do so would entail another cabinet vote, reported by the Jerusalem Post.
And this story is from the Wall Street Journal. First came the smartphone, then came the tablet, but soon Google will be taking its Android operating system and putting it into a much larger package. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Google plans to partner with the Audi automobile company to develop Android-based software for new cars. Ron Montagna, the consumer advisor editor for Edmund.com, said that the two companies had worked together before. They already laid the foundation when they started to put Google Maps in the cars, he told ABC News. Carl Brower, a senior analyst at Kelley Blue Book, adds that it's not just Audi's and Google's partnership evolving, but the car itself. Even if you drive a lot, you still probably spend more time with your devices than with your car. The closer that they can make a car interface look like a phone interface, the more quickly you'll learn to use it and the more at ease you'll be with it. The partnership is expected to be announced at the upcoming Consumer Electronics Show held from January 7th through the 10th. Both Google and Audi declined to comment about the report. However, Audi's head of product strategy, Philip Breivik, told the Wall Street Journal that new vehicles will inevitably need an operating system to meet a customer's demand for apps.
Attacks against children in the Central African Republic have sunk to a vicious new low. The United Nations Children's Agency is warning today, saying that at least 2 children have been beheaded, one of them mutilated, in the violence that has gripped the capital since early December. This is a quote from Solomon Diabete, country representative for the UN Children's Fund. "We are witnessing unprecedented levels of violence against children. More and more children are being recruited into armed groups, and they are also being targeted in atrocious revenge attacks," reported by UN News.
And this story from the Associated Press: passengers on board a research ship that has been trapped in Antarctic ice for a week are expected to be rescued by helicopter after 3 icebreakers failed to reach the paralyzed vessel. According to a statement issued this morning, the 74 scientists, tourists, and crew on the Russian ship MV Academic Shokalsky, which has been stuck since Christmas Eve, had been hoping the Australian icebreaker Aurora Australis would be able to crack through the thick ice and allow them to continue on their way. The Aurora came within 12 miles of the ship yesterday, but fierce winds and snow forced it to retreat to open water. This morning, the weather remained bleak, and the crew on the Aurora said their vessel would also be at risk of getting stuck if it made another rescue attempt, according to the Australian Maritime Safety Authority, which is coordinating the rescue. A helicopter on board a Chinese icebreaker, the Snow Dragon, will be used to collect the passengers. The Snow Dragon, which is waiting with the Aurora at the edge of the ice pack, was also unable to crack through the ice, as was France's ship, known as the Astrolabe.
According to a new report by University of Miami doctors studying whether skin cancer can be traced to geographic area, they found Florida had more indoor tanning facilities than CVS pharmacies or even McDonald's restaurants. The researching doctors say they were shocked about the number of tanning beds, even though there is already plenty of natural sun exposure in the Sunshine State. The team of doctors is working to see whether melanoma can be linked to specific areas in Florida, which has the country's second highest rate of melanoma. Although the doctors say they will need more research before they can determine whether the proliferation of tanning beds is a contributing factor in the cancer clusters, they wrote a letter to the Journal of the American Medical Association to raise the issue. Previous research shows links between skin cancer and the use of tanning beds. Indoor tanning has been linked to melanoma and non-melanoma skin cancer development in many studies, especially for people who tan before the age of 35.
From the Associated Press, the world is currently in 2 years, 2013 and 2014. Exploding fireworks sprayed from Sydney, Australia's iconic Opera House and Harbour Bridge at midnight their time this morning as the world began ushering in a new year. More than 1 million people crammed to the Sydney Harbour foreshore on a warm summer night to watch Sydney's renowned annual pyrotechnics show, which appeared to live audiences up to its billing at the city's most extravagant. Okay, I don't know what that meant. Something was written wrong there. Fireworks launched from 4 sails of the Sydney Opera House for the first time in more than a decade. Dubai will later try to create the world's largest fireworks show to ring in 2014. Closer to the edge of the international dateline, New Zealand bid farewell to 2013 2 hours before Sydney, with fireworks erupting from Auckland's Sky Tower as cheering revelers danced in the streets of the South Pacific island nation's largest city. So the world is currently in 2014 and 2013.
I like it. The U.S. government is working behind the scenes to secure the release of American al-Qaeda hostage Warren Weinstein, the State Department said in response to comments made by Weinstein's family in an exclusive interview this morning on Good Morning America. Elaine Weinstein, the 72-year-old's wife, had told Good Morning America that al-Qaeda's demands for her husband's release were beyond her control, but said that the U.S. government won't tell her much about what they're doing to help. This is reported by ABC, and with my 2 cents, nothing would still be done unless she, came to the press, which she did about 2 weeks ago, and you had that story when she broke it.
Commentary from Robin.
Yeah.
The next story is from the Las Vegas Sun. The Senate will vote next Monday on temporarily extending federal benefits for the long-term unemployed. U.S. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid said yesterday. Reid told the Associated Press that he's hopeful a bill sponsored by Nevada's Republican Senator Dean Heller will be approved by the upper chamber, but he offered no prediction on whether it will pass muster in the House of Representatives. I don't predict anything in the House, Reid said, describing the Republican-controlled House as a black hole of legislation. We'll see what happens, he said, but he praised Heller for the bipartisan bill he introduced with U.S. Senator Jack Reed, a Democrat from Rhode Island. The measure would continue the federal jobless program for 3 months while a compromise is being sought. And that article from the Las Vegas Sun.
For the GOP, Christmas came early this year. It came on October the 1st, the day healthcare.gov debuted to disastrous results, and millions of constituents began calling to complain about canceled plans. Not only did Republicans' predictions about the law's viability appear to be coming true, but in a double whammy, President Obama found himself apologizing for the claim that if people liked their health insurance, they could keep it. Their fortunes were so good that the botched rollout of the law, Mr. Obama's signature domestic policy achievement, ended up largely overshadowing their role in prolonging a 16-day government shutdown in the first half of October in an attempt to defund Obamacare, which initially turned off voters. By late December, a CNN/ORC international poll that just 2 months ago showed Democrats with an 8-point lead on the generic ballot now had Republicans up 49% to 44%, reported by CBS News.
And the next story from the Associated Press, Tim Tebow has his next football job talking about football on TV. The Heisman Trophy winner has been hired as a college football analyst for the new SEC network in a return to his Florida glory days, but he still hopes to play quarterback in the NFL. Tebow will appear on SEC Nation, a pregame show that will travel to a different campus each week after the channel launches in August. The multi-year deal will not preclude him from continuing to pursue playing opportunities in the NFL, according to a statement issued by ESPN, which runs the network. Tebow did not play in the league in 2013 after he was cut by the Patriots in August. In the span of just over one season, he went from a national sensation who led the Denver Broncos to the playoffs to a backup to out of the NFL. A quote from Tebow in a statement released by ESPN says, quote, "While I continue to pursue my dream of playing quarterback in the NFL, this is an amazing opportunity to be part of the unparalleled passion of college football and the SEC." ESPN Senior Vice President Justin Connolly called Tebow an SEC icon with a national fan base and broad appeal.
The peace talks with Israel have failed, and the Palestinian Authority should seek membership in international agencies and forums, Chief PLO negotiator Saeb Erekat declared yesterday. Erekat's announcement came as another top PLO official, Jamal Muhaissen, reiterated the Palestinians' rejection of U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry's new ideas for security arrangements between a Palestinian state and Israel. This is a quote from Erekat. "We don't need the 9-month period set by Kerry to judge the talks. Israel has foiled the talks." Referring to a ministerial comments decision to grant support to a bill that would annex the Jordan Valley, Erekat asked, "What does this decision mean?" Reported by the Jerusalem Post.
And from the Associated Press, a Hawaii woman whose last name is 36 letters long has finally gotten the whole thing to fit on her driver's license and her state ID card. Janice Lokilani, whose name is pronounced Ke hana I ku kau a ka hi hu li he e ka hau na ele. Thank goodness they gave me the pronunciation. Has a surname that consists of 35 letters plus an Okina, which is a mark used in the Hawaiian alphabet. She received her new driver's license after her campaign to get her full name on the card prompted the State Department of Transportation to change its policy to expand the number of characters that can appear on a license. The lady is 54 years old. I won't try her name again. She said yesterday that she's happy she was able to help fix the problem of identification cards lacking sufficient space for long names.
I concur. BP is to buy $2.9 billion worth of oil products from Rosneft, the Russian state-controlled oil and gas giant. Rosneft, in which BP has a near 20% stake, the second largest holding behind the Kremlin, said yesterday in a filing that its board had approved a deal to sell up to 3.2 million tons of oil products to the British-based oil major. The sale is to include up to 660,000 tons of naphtha used as lighter fluid and in camping stoves for up to $700 million and up to 1.26 million tons of fuel oil for up to $940.3 million for two ops on the Black Sea coast, reported by The Telegraph.
And this story is from Reuters. The American Civil Liberties Union filed a lawsuit yesterday seeking to force the U.S. government to disclose details of its foreign electronic surveillance program and what protections it provides to Americans whose communications are swept up. The lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in New York came 3 days after the ACLU lost a bid to block a separate program that collects the phone calls of millions of Americans. The latest lawsuit seeks information related to the use of Executive Order 12333, which was signed in 1981 and governs surveillance of foreign targets. Under the order, the National Security Administration is collecting vast quantities of data globally under the order's authority, inevitably including communications of U.S. citizens, according to the lawsuit. And the story is from the Reuters news agency.
Support for the war in Afghanistan is less than 20%, making the longest U.S. military conflict the least popular, a CNN poll released yesterday indicated. Results of the CNN-ORC International Survey also indicates a majority of Americans would like to see U.S. combat troops leave Afghanistan before the December 2014 deadline. Only 17% of Americans say that they support the 12-year-long war. This is reported by UPI.
All right, that's all the time we have for News Bites. Remember, we do this each weekday morning, and we will do it tomorrow as well, even though it's a holiday. It doesn't take. We only don't do it 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And Christmas, yeah.
All right, Robin, how many stories did we squeeze in today? 24, not bad. Remember, if you would like to advertise your business on these airwaves, WOCA, The Source, would love to hear from you. Give us a call at 732-8000. Speak to one of our sales executives. You can sponsor any program or every program. You can have your commercials spread throughout the day and the night. Remember, we're a 24-hour station. We broadcast from the Paddock Mall, so if you'd prefer to come in rather than call up, just come by the door near the food court at the Paddock Mall and visit one of our sales executives. They'll tell you how it works and work a deal with you so you can get people through your door simply by us announcing your business on these airwaves.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a little break. Carolyn Baldwin is up next to talk about your garden. We'll be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. People worldwide have begun to ring in the new year. Booming fireworks erupted from Auckland's Sky Tower in New Zealand and from the Sydney Harbour Bridge in Australia. New York is bracing for tonight's onslaught of revelers in Times Square with extra tight security. Russian officials insist international athletes will be completely safe at the upcoming Winter Games, despite 2 terror attacks at a train station and aboard a bus that killed 34 people in recent days. U.S. officials have offered assistance in coordinating security efforts, but relations with Moscow have been strained. After a second surgery, Formula One racer Michael Schumacher is showing improvement. Doctors say he's still in critical condition and not out of danger, but they do have more control over bleeding in his brain. He hit his head in a skiing fall. Obesity might be a socially transmitted disease. British researchers found people who see their friends choose large or small portions of food are significantly more likely to do the same. Scientists say they don't realize it, but they're reinforcing their identity as a member of the group with their eating behavior. This is ABC News.
If you're a homeowner who's faithfully made your mortgage payments, you deserve thanks for doing the right thing. And I'd like to tell you about a powerful financial tool that rewards your commitment. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and the tool that I'm talking about is the Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. HARP is designed to help you lower your mortgage payments. It's for homeowners who are current on their mortgage payments, but due to the housing market may have little or no equity left in their home. And even if you were unable to get a HARP loan in the past, new guidelines mean that now you may be eligible. More than 2.5 million homeowners have already taken advantage of HARP and are saving an average of $250 a month. If you're one of the millions yet to take advantage, call us today at 800-QUICKEN. To learn more, call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to quickenloans.com. That number again is 800-QUICKEN.
Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 30.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Wear it, Florida. For today, intervals of clouds and sunshine. The high 67 to 71. Tonight will be partly cloudy with lows ranging from 54 in the northernmost part of the zone to about 64 along the coast. For tomorrow, New Year's Day, mostly cloudy with a shower or two. The highs ranging from the mid-60s up north to the mid-70s in the south. Thursday, some rain and a thunderstorm. Highs in the low 70s up north, 82 in the south. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.